Well, hello, Power Rangers fans. We finally come to this day. The 30th anniversary of Power Rangers Once and Always Special has aired on Netflix. Now, I'm gonna do a spoiler-heavy review, so if you haven't seen the episode, please go ahead and watch Netflix. If you don't care about spoilers, then hey, come join me. But I'm gonna talk about it in a spoiler-heavy review because I really want to dig deep into this. Because I'll just get it out of the way. It's amazing. It takes everything that we've loved about Power Rangers and it respects us first and foremost. A lot of us who have been Power Rangers fans for X amount of time, we've either been mocked, ridiculed, all of these things about Power Rangers, and it's never gotten a level of respect other than, hey, that's a show I used to watch when I was a kid. Oh yeah, I remember that show. Isn't it racist? The black guy was the Black Ranger, the Asian girl was the Yellow Ranger. So it's never really been seen with the level of respect that it does deserve, because a lot of us just watched it as kids, then we moved on to other things in life. And that happens. But what this special does is it respects those who have been watching the show since its inception and those who watched it back in the day and fell off and says, you know what? You guys are grown now. We can go ahead and tackle some real issues. We can go ahead and tackle some deep content and still give you the campiness, wonderful feeling that you had as a kid. Because yes, there's a certain innocence to Power Rangers, which is the reason why I think a lot of us still watch it. For those of us who still watch it, we see the world in almost rose-colored glasses because we look at Power Rangers and we say, that's how we want the world to be. We want the world to be this nice, safe place that can get wrapped up in a 20-minute episode with nice little, music, and at the end of the day, everything's gonna be okay. What this special does, it says, life is not always gonna be the way that you think, but even in the end, everything is gonna be okay. You can move forward and you can deal with the issues that life throws at you and find a happy place and happy peace in moving forward. And that's what I love about this special. As a longtime Power Ranger fan, this special gives us everything that we've been asking for. One of the first things that we've been asking for, whether it's the 25th, the 20th anniversary special, we've been asking for character development. We've been asking to see the old cast return. Actually, the chemistry in the first team is actually very strong, whether it's Zach and Jason, whether it's Kimberly and Tommy, whether it's Kimberly and I think Kimberly and Trini is probably the weakest of all of the Rangers. But you put any one of those original six with anybody else, their chemistry is strong. But one of the strongest relationships that I do not think got a lot of time because of her departure was Billy and Trini. And it focuses on Trini, and she goes in to save Billy and she dies. Immediately, we're first 5 minutes. I mean, it's action-packed, and then Trini gets hit by Rita. And now the team is trying to figure out, this has never happened before. We've never had one of our members killed before. Now, if you're a Power Rangers fan and you've been watching it over 30 years, you know this is not the first time a member of the team has been killed. We've seen it in episodes in Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. We've seen it. So, but this is the first time that a Ranger has been killed and will probably stay dead. And I feel that. I feel that they're not going to try and bring back Trini. It would actually be disrespectful at this point to try and bring her back. So we know that Trini is going to stay dead within the Power Rangers universe. She's not coming back. It's not going to be a situation like that. So we're dealing with the death of Trini, the original Yellow Ranger, and we move fast forward a year as the team comes together. A lot of you have asked, even in the trailer, they were like, well, where's Jason, Tommy, and Kimberly? Well, guess what? In the first 10 minutes, Jason, Tommy, and Kimberly are captured. All right, so that explains their absence in the show. They've been captured, they've been captured by Rita, who Rita was brought back. If you don't know, Rita was also saved in Power Rangers in Space, and I'll leave the name of that episode. Power Rangers in Space, Rita turned good, and we really haven't seen Rita since then. So, of course, main brain, Billy, tries to bring Zordon back. Zordon is the reason that Rita turned good, because he sacrificed himself. And that's what a lot of this special is about. It's about, what does it mean to be a hero? when you are a hero, you are going to have to make sacrifices. It is a selfless behavior to be a hero. And so when Trini dies, and we have Trini's daughter in here, her name is Min, and Min finds out that her mother was a Power Ranger who died in battle, of course she wants revenge. And you got Billy and Zach who are guiding this young lady and being there to take care of her. Zach, I mean, I'm so happy that Zach is getting the respect. Zach is my favorite Power Ranger, and he has been since day one. So to see a black guy like me who was a superhero, that was my guy. And I was like, I will always be the Mastodon. I will always be the Black Ranger. And I respected just what Walter Jones brought to that character, because he was the guy who could literally move in any situation. You know, he didn't take anything too seriously. He was a little skeptical from day one. He was like, I don't know if I want to be a superhero. Or, you know, one of the things he said in the first episode, he said, we were pretty lucky this time.
We were pretty lucky this time.
You know, and Zordon told, hey, luck had nothing to do with it. You've got the skills to be the superheroes that I need you to be. One of the things that we find out about Zach is that he's been working in Congress. So they done turned Zach into like an Obama. He's walking around, he's working in politics, and he sacrificed that job to kind of now stay and look after men. And that's such a noble thing. One of the things I like about outside of being Power Rangers, these characters are all still doing an act of service. Whether it's Zach working in Congress, whether it's Aisha and Adam who work in Space Patrol Alpha, which is before Power Rangers SPD. So they make a reference to Power Rangers SPD because that's supposed to take place in year 2025. So Adam and Aisha are working for Space Patrol Alpha. And so that's a whole different section of the SPD department. So we know that they're in service. Billy is still, he has his own business, and he's kind of like the Tony Stark of this all. Like, he's making money, but he's got a business. But once again, he's still in service of people. And that's how a lot of this gets started, is that Billy is trying to bring Zordon back. And so when that goes bad, he accidentally brings Rita back. And so that's kind of how this all transpires. Then we have Kat and Rocky who end up showing up. And what I would like to say is that I think Rocky is a perfect choice, not just because Jason couldn't be there, but because the relationship that Rocky has with Billy, the relationship that Rocky has with Kat, and then you get a new dynamic with Zach, right? And then for Adam and Aisha to also show up, he's one of the few people who's worked with all of these people. So it was really interesting to see Rocky kind of come back in and be Rocky, right? Like, there are Rocky fans out there, and Rocky's not like one of my favorite Rangers of all time. Not only because when he left his powers to a child. I just feel like that's kind of irresponsible. But I think that the love that's out there for Rocky, to see Rocky get a little bit of respect, is important. And that's one of the things that I wanted to highlight, is that Rocky is getting respected, right? And he's given an opportunity to shine. Although he's kind of in the background, you know that Rocky's out there doing stuff. Once again, he's in service of others as a firefighter. And it's consistent with the fact that Rocky has always kind of felt like he was in the background, but he's being noticed, and he's now getting a little bit more opportunity to shine. Do I think Rocky can lead a team? No. Now, if Rocky were to lead a team and it was much younger Rangers, kind of like the way they did Adam in the actual Once a Ranger, Always a Ranger special, I could see Rocky doing something like that, and then he'd get the opportunity to lead. But when it comes to these veteran Rangers, I don't really see Rocky having a place as much. But he kind of, like, the weirdest thing is that this would not have been my choice of Rangers. If I had to choose my Rangers, this would not, I would have definitely chose Kat over Kimberly, but I would have not chosen Jason or Rocky over Jason. I would have chosen Zach over Adam, and then you only got Billy left, and then that would have been my decision. But to see Rocky there was an interesting choice, and it's still kind of sitting on me like, okay, all right, yeah, Rocky's been around he's been done 2 movies. He went on a ninja quest. He's in Zeo. Okay, yeah. Rocky deserves a little bit more respect than we've given him. And so, like I said, it wouldn't have been my first choice, but I actually like the decision. But let's go ahead and talk about my favorite aspect. Well, one of my favorites. But to see Kat, right? I feel like Kat does not get respect in the Mighty Morphin world. We know she's the only Zeo Ranger out there. But Kat does not always get the Mighty Morphin respect because Kimberly is so loved. And I'm totally fine with that Kimberly is loved. Kimberly is not my favorite Pink Ranger, but I know Kimberly is a lot of people's favorite Pink Ranger. But for Kat to acknowledge that, she's got a son, JJ, with Tommy. So JJ is Tommy and Kat's son. Kat and Tommy are married. That is established. That was established in the comics. So JJ is the son of Kat and Tommy.
Just got back from the dojo. Yep. I'll take JJ to school. See you tonight.
JJ, I thought I told you not to leave your bike here.
Sorry, Dad.
It's okay, kiddo.
Hello, Tommy Oliver.
So I loved seeing Kat being able to really take on the mantle of the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger, Pink Ranger. I do not feel like in the show she really got a chance, because the moment that Kat took on the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger, Pink Ranger, it was like 10 episodes or something like that. They move into Zeo. So Kat never really got a chance to shine as the MMPR Pink Ranger. And so this was a really good opportunity, even with her bringing out the power bow, to see the power weapons and to see them used so differently. In the show back in the day, they brought out the power weapons. Every now and then, they would immediately put them, power blaster, guys. Boom. That's what we were doing. But to see how those power weapons were used individually was such an awesome thing. To see Zach bring out the power axe and use it as a gun. To see Min use the power daggers. And when she used the power daggers, she almost used them as like knives or sais, like sais like Raphael would have.
I lost the side.
Like she was doing things and throwing them. And that was so cool to see, because there's so many different ways to use daggers that we've never seen in the show. To see Billy use the power lance and use it as a way to stab Rita like a sword, that was awesome. Now, the sword is always used in a way of the sword. We always see the Red Ranger's weapon used very well in Power Rangers, but it's never an opportunity where we get to see the other Rangers' weapons used individually before they get to be the Power Blaster. So that was really cool to see that, because they're individual weapons. They don't always have to bring them together, and they should be used as such. So that was such a creative way to do that. But I think the biggest thing about this special is that it talks about what it means to be a hero. And I think there's one thing that we've never really addressed in Power Rangers, or at least the seasons I've seen. I've seen everything up to Ninja Steel. But Min is trying to get revenge, and with her trying to get revenge for the death of her mother, which is Trini, Zach and Billy try to explain to her that that's not what a hero is. You can't just go out and seek refuge for how you've been wronged. And that's a big thing. That's a big topic of conversation, because we all want to believe that we could be heroes, but there are a lot of us who are dealing with a lot of internal anger that if we were given the ability, like super strength and any special abilities that made us enhanced human beings, we wouldn't always do it for good. We might take advantage of situations. We might take advantage of people. We might try to manipulate situations and people to get what we want. And in this story, Min ends up trying to take on the mantle of the Yellow Ranger, but she doesn't really get the ability to be the Yellow Ranger until she is whole on the inside, which is really fascinating, because her arc of becoming the Yellow Ranger is a manifestation of her, who she becomes as a person. When this series starts, she's about, like I said, anger, revenge, greed, self-indulging her own personal needs. And then she can't even power up the Morpher. The Morpher won't even power up. And it's not until she learns that she has to be self-sacrificing. She really learns it. She learns it from her mother when Min almost dies, because Rita actually almost kills her. When Min almost dies, that's when she realizes what it truly means to be a hero. And that's when the powers are activated to the morphing grid. And it's at that moment that she can now finally morph into the Yellow Ranger. And Zach comes to her and he says, hey, do you want to do this? And she's like, yes. So she accepts the mantle, but she only accepts the mantle once she internally realizes that if I take on this role, it is a role that is in service of others. And once she gets that, that's when she activates the powers. And that's when she starts to appreciate. And she, at one point in the story, she kind of blames Billy for the death of her mother. And only after she understands the sacrifice that all the Rangers have made at one point, she apologizes to Billy and says, I was wrong for what I said to you about you being at fault for killing my mother. And it's a beautiful ending because Billy, obviously accepts her apology, and they talk about what it means to be a family. This ain't no Fast and Furious, like, quarter mile at a time. But they do talk about family and how important it is to protect your family, protect your people, and forgiveness. And so Billy has to forgive Min. Min has to kind of forgive Billy. Min ends up having to kind of forgive Zach also, because Zach didn't originally want to tell her what happened to Trini, her mother. Zach wanted to protect her. And in his eyes, not only am I protecting Min, but I'm also protecting the rules that Zordon has set forth for what it means to be a Power Ranger. So he's trying to protect not only the legacy of being a Power Ranger, but protect this little girl at the same time. And that's what the beauty of this story is you really see the full circle and where Min is going. As an older generation Power Ranger lover, I appreciate where Zach and Billy are, because I remember when they first came on and they were just, Zach was just energetic and Zach was also level-headed. But now to see it kind of play out and he have to pass on that information to a new generation, that is, even now I look at kids and I'm like, I'm now in service of the generation behind me. And that's what it really means to be a hero. A hero is not just somebody who goes out and saves the world, or is a firefighter or a police officer or any of those things. It's being in service to other people, being selfless, and knowing what that truly means to be selfless as opposed to selfish. And I think what this special does is it takes what we loved about Power Rangers as a kid, which when we watched Power Rangers as a kid, did we want to kick kids on the playground? Absolutely. I done kicked a couple of kids. I done punched a couple of kids because I was a Power Ranger and they were the putties. And that's what you did. But a real Power Ranger fan also wanted to be better. Power Rangers inspired you to want to be better. So to take those same kids who are adults and now watching Power Rangers now, the Once and Always special, it gave the exact same feeling, but it was different. I'm not going out kicking kids anymore, but it said, I want to be better for the next generation. I want to teach them what it means to be not only a hero, but whether it's being a man, whether it's being a black man in America, I want to be in service. And that's what it really means to be a Power Ranger. It means to be in service of others, to enlighten others, to influence others in the best way possible. And that's what we say whenever we say, may the power protect you. The power is anything that's inside of you that inspires you to be a better person. And I done been to a lot of Comic-Cons and seen a lot of people and heard a lot of stories. And I think the biggest thing about this fandom is that we're all inspired to be better people. And I think that the special triggers that feeling that we had back when we were kids to help and be better for the next generation. So that is my spoiler review. That is my spoiler review of the Power Rangers 30th Once and Always special. Look, I appreciate you guys. Tell me some of your favorite moments in the special, because I have a lot, but my favorite moment was just seeing, I was so happy to see Zach morph again. And see him do hip hop keto. I was like, oh snap, Zach is back doing a hip hop keto, and he did that backflip. I was like, that's him. That backflip was very reminiscent, which is interesting because the last time Walter Jones was on the show, he did a backflip like that. So the next time he was on the show, he did the exact same backflip that he did the last time he left, before he left the series. So it was kind of very symbiotic to see those two come together. I might even put a clip together if I could put it together. So remember, go ahead and put in the comments section what's your favorite moment of the Power Rangers Once and Always. Who's your favorite Power Ranger? If there's a sequel, look, we got to talk about some things if there's a sequel. It's very sad at the end because you see how it gives a tribute to Jason Frank. I cried. I'm not afraid to say it. I cried seeing the tribute to Jason Frank and seeing the tribute to Thuy Trang. So look, put your favorite moments. I appreciate you all. Thank you for listening to my review of the Power Rangers 30th Anniversary Once and Always special. Look, be kind to everybody except the racist, because we ain't got time for them. May the power protect you.